Well, because somebody asked, right? You know, I spent a considerable amount of time on the streets before I got inside, and even after I got inside, without glasses. Because I was sleeping at Grassy Knoll one night, and I had a suitcase that had a bunch of stuff in it, and my glasses were on top of the suitcase. When I woke up the next morning, my suitcase was gone, as well as my glasses, and my shoes. I had to go for some time without shoes until I found some shoes. And I had to go for several months without glasses. I even wrote a petition to the Supreme Court of the United States without glasses. You know that? Spent a considerable amount of time on the street without glasses. You know, sometimes when I look in the mirror and I see my face with glasses on, and then I see my face without glasses on, it's very different. But what's even more different is when I get up close and I look at my eyes. One of my eyes sees completely different than the other eye. One of my eyes is steel. The other eye is earth. It's true, I got blue eyes, but right around my pupil, I got something that looks kind of like if you see an aerial photography, a satellite photo of the earth. You see the contrast between the land and the ocean. And it's like when I look in the mirror, I noticed this years ago. One of my eyes is steel. One of my eyes is earth. My earth has a lot of sorrow that my steel does not have. So I live with this every day. If I were to write that fact again, I would have done it completely different. If I were to do that fact now, I would start in a completely different manner. I would use different resources. I would use different references. And one of the first things I would discuss, one of the early things I would discuss, is I would take it back to the American Civil War. From the American Civil War, I would talk about some things that were to be contextualized within a consideration of the American Civil War, including going back to the founding of documents associated with the United States itself, the Declaration of Independence, elements of the Federalist and Anti-Federalist Papers, things comparable to what I'm doing with the suits I'm working with before the Supreme Court and in the other manners that I'm working with and through the judicial branch of government. Why the judicial branch of government? Why am I so fixated on the law? I am. See, I think I wanted to be for all of my life. I wanted structure. I wanted order. I wanted discipline. I wanted accountability. I wanted to know how to do things the right way. I wanted to be excellent in doing things the right way. I wanted people that were honorable, that would present a role model for exemplification and inspiration. I wanted to be able to go through the appropriate processes to become such a person myself. I wanted there to be sacred places. I wanted those sacred places to be maintained. I wanted the people within those sacred places to understand they were holy and they were sacred and they deserved to be protected. And if anybody screwed with them, which they wouldn't, but if they did, that there would be consequences and there would be people ready, willing, and able to take responsibility for assuring that those consequences were administered justly. This is not so different from where I understand and how I understand I grew up. But the process, that structure, that order, that discipline, it's lacking. And in the course of that, a lot of why it's lacking is because there was a lot of theft. A lot of things that were meant to be in the right place are not in the right place. They are in places they're not supposed to be. And sometimes the wrong people were let in. This isn't about changing the rules or changing policy in order to respond to the material conditions. This is something else. So if I were to do that fact again, I would have started it in a different place. Why? Because I'm an American. One of the major critiques that has always been, and perhaps always shall be, at least until so far as it is addressed directly and is dealt with justly, is what role did the United States specifically have in the fomenting of the factors associated with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We're not just talking about Camp David. We're not just talking about the Suez Canal. We're not just talking about these various matters. We're not just talking about how long it took the United States to respond to the Holocaust. We're not even just talking about the relationship the United States had with the Ottoman Empire during the time frame leading up to World War I, and how that impacted the United States relationship with the Middle East, but also with Europe during and throughout World War II, right? When did America decide to take responsibility for itself? And insofar as it did that, when did it, how did it understand itself in responsible relationships with other people? These are age-old questions. There are many civilizations, many contexts wherein these questions form the core of what considers itself as a society. How people engage, who the people are, who we remember, who we're not supposed to know about, and what happens when we find out about them anyway.